When I was looking for a way to track instrument error on YouTube using Google Sheets, there were a bunch of dashboards that came up for like sales and finance, personal finances and stuff like that, and nothing that was really applicable to the clinical lab. So after I came up with this, I figured I'd post it. So it's going to be a really quick way to make a very simple dashboard in Google Sheets. And this one is tracking a number of errors. We can see in particular there's the z-axis error. This would indicate that your machine needs some maintenance, and the one that has the highest is instrument number 5 with 71 errors. So we can quickly see that this is the machine that we need to, call the tech to take care of. We can track this information in a log. I'm going to show you how to make drop-down boxes to select your instrument, and also the error. This one had the z-axis error, and the date will come up automatically. So let's start with a new Google spreadsheet. First of all, I would recommend 3 tabs. Double-click to rename. The first one's going to be your site. In the data section, we're going to say, okay, these are the machine names and types of errors. And the types of errors, we talked already about like a z-axis error, maybe there's a C fail and expired reagents. So this could be like a machine that's not used very often, we're putting too many reagents on, or if you want to track samples, maybe a meth lot, you can, or someone has an issue with collection, say hemolyzed QNS, and you can track where they came from, or really whatever you want. We're going to go into the log, and here we'll put whatever we'd like to track. Let's track our machines, the errors, of course. We need our date and initials for data entry. And to scan like a sample barcode as well, or have the facility it's collected from, or department it's collected from. We can bold those as well. Of course, you can play around with the fonts and the colors, make it look nice. But we're just going to run through really simple. One thing I definitely would recommend is view, freeze, 1 row. So no matter how low we scroll, as we can see on the right here, down to row like 123, these will always show up. To create the drop-down box, we're going to select the cell, right-click, scroll down to data validation. There are a couple different ways you can do this. I recommend just showing a warning if there's invalid data. If someone types in something that is not one of your drop-down, you can reject it, or you can let it go through. It's best to criteria list from a range. Click this little grid box to select the data range. We're going to come here to data. This is our instrument, so we just highlight those. If you're planning on adding more instruments in the future, you can scroll down further, click OK, and save. So here in the log, we have all our instruments. And if we change the name, we go to the log, and it shows up. To apply this to all of them, you can select from the top, but it's going to change your machines as well. Or you can click on this, hold down Control, Shift, down arrow. Then you can right-click Data Validation and select your data and save. We're going to do the same thing for errors, Control Shift up, and then hold the Shift button down, go down one, because we just want to go from cell number 2, right click, data validation. We're going to select from our data here, OK, and save. Now we can select the instrument, we can select what error it had. To get the date to input automatically, I'm just going to go over here and copy the formula, and I will explain it to you. So, I'll include this in the description as well, so you can copy it. It is equals if, parentheses, C2, this is going to be the cell that we're looking at. So, if we want it to update every time an error is selected, then you would put the error field. That's going to be, sorry, capital B, B2. So if we're looking at B2 value, if the date field, that's going to be C2, is empty, then make it now in the C fields. Okay, and then it's empty. If not, it's going to be empty. End parentheses. You'll get this warning about a circular dependency. So we're going to go to File, Spreadsheet Settings, Calculation, turn the iterative calculation on, and I just leave the default. Save settings. Okay. Now it's going to work. Okay, and this should update. It'll have the current time. So it'll always have the date and current time. If we go and change it, it's not going to change our time. If we go back and decide, maybe that wasn't the best error to describe. You can put in people's initials, if you want to have your sample barcodes, whatever. So we're just going to copy in some data I have from somewhere else and double click to make it a little bigger. So the errors, and also let's get the machine names. Copy that and go ahead and paste. Okay, Control V, whatever. We're not going to worry about the dates, but if you wanted to copy this formula down, you could just click and drag. Because these already have data, it's going to say 0. Or you can Control C to copy, and then Control Shift down to Control V, paste. So every one of these cells now should put the date in. Alright, so now that we have a bunch of log data regarding the instruments and the errors, we can go to our dashboard, put in our instrument names. Oh, actually, we're going to copy this from the other spreadsheet. So underneath of the graph, we just have our values. I'm going to go ahead and copy these over. Paste, Control C to copy, Control V to paste. And copy. I'll include this in the link in the description below. We're using the COUNTIFS formula. It's going to give us a count of any place on the log sheet, this one. So if you rename this, you'll want to change the name over here. From A1 to A. I put a $sign in front of these so that when I copy it from this cell, Control-C, Control-V to this cell, it doesn't change because we're looking at instruments from A1 to A means the bottom of the sheet. A1 to A. We're going to check if it matches B1. So we're going to check if it matches this instrument. Again, use the $sign because as I copy it down, they're all going to check top. We're going to check for also if there's a match on log from C1 to C. And in this log, the errors are on column B, so that's why it's showing 0. I'm going to change that to B1 to B. We want to see if it matches column A. This is our error. So this is to check if our log, we're going to go cell by cell in the log and see if it matches the instrument 1 and the error of clot. Autofill, yeah, sure. So I can right click, copy, click and drag down to here and paste. Sorry, Control V. Now it will input all of our data. So we can see the z-axis we were worried about before is our z-axis error on instrument 5. In order to make a chart, very simple, we're going to click and drag to highlight all of this data, insert chart. There are lots of different options. This is the default, but you can also stack it to the side. I like the stacked bar chart. Sometimes that's a little easier to use. Do a pie chart or donut. That looks cool. Let's go back to the one that was default. Customize to change the name under chart and axis titles. Title, you have the chart title here. This is our okay. If you want to add horizontal axis title, this could be pairs. Oh, sorry. And the vertical is going to be pairs. Exit out of that. And just to make the dashboard look clean, we cover up the data that we pulled from. There you have it. Pretty simple.